Mic checking 1, 2, 3. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you guys are ready to start. I know my audio is working. Maybe too loud. Oops. Hey, hi Sebastian. Hey Irfan. Hello Nitu. Welcome Sally. I know this is your first time. I see a lot of people coming here early. I was really tempted to kill the music to jump on, but as you can see, I need to make sure my coffee are refilled and I'm refreshed for you guys. So if you're here for the very first time, please do put new in the bottom and tell the audience. And I do have about 60% repeat community, my YouTube community, and as well as my Patreon and my VIP member and my coaching platform. Thank you guys so much for coming back to support me. If you guys don't do what you do every Tuesday, I won't be here. I mean, no one's watching. Why would I be here, right? And you're also helping me trick our friend Google algorithm so that my channel will get more view for those who don't know me, okay? That's why I'm also here. So I'm really pumped. I love video. It's all about going live, and I see the result in investment from helping those landing an offer with Amazon. Now, full disclosure, everything that I'm sharing with you guys, and I'm only saying this because I do get new audience every single week. Take it as a grain of salt. Everything that I share, you can find them on the World Wide Web, so nothing is secretive from Amazon. I have worked there for a bit, but I wanted to really help you land a job with Amazon, with Google, with Apple, whatever your pleasing is. I know that some of my customers are in the chat right now, and they also know that using the same strategy like I am sharing with you today, it's gonna help you land offer. But you guys, you need to do all the hard work, okay? So I don't know if I mentioned my name. My name is Holly, by the way. That's not important. The important thing is I want to get started as soon as possible. Hi. Let's do a quick hello here. Sebastian, hi. If you're new, please tell me what position you're interviewing for. Where are you dialing in from? I have a lot of people from Germany and basically a lot of EMEA, European folks, and Asia joining lately. It gets me really pumped and excited. I'm also trying to see what time frame work for all of geography, as I'm very limited with the amount of time I have to jump on and do multiple live sessions for you guys weekly. Okay. Hello, CRB. Welcome back. Anishka. Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Jagar. Hey, Luca. M. Trouter. Are you new? I think this is the first time yet. I'm new here, so please be gentle. You guys know I'm not a gentle person. That's why you keep on coming back to me, because you like my authenticity. I can't tell. Authenticity. See, if you guys are saying that you have a communication issue that can prevent you from getting a job at Amazon, that is not true. Okay? So, okay, new. Yay! That means you guys can hear me. Great. By the way, very exciting news here. Don't worry about this. If you want to rewatch it, this playlist here with all of the questions, the weekly question, it is called Amazon Leadership Principle Questions and Answer, okay? All of my live stream has Amazon in it. So all you have to do is click on the hyperlink to, let's just say you are a solution architect, wink, wink, you know who you are that's in here. If you go to solution architect interview tip, it will bring you right to where that content is. So you don't have to walk through 2 hours of webinar, okay? Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Sakit. Hello, Irfan. Hi, Jason. Jason, yes. RJ, how are you? Pooja, Jamal, Belen, hi. New names, I love it. Usha, how are you? Hello, Lindsay. Hi, Dave. Babin. Hardeep, how are you? Divya, how are you? Denise, you're the first person to show up extremely patiently, so I really do appreciate that. You're coming in from Seattle, Sally. Woohoo! Yay! Pacific Northwest in the house. I think I'm the only career coach from Pacific Northwest, if I'm correct. Hello, Will. Another Seattle folks. Pamini. Ed, welcome back. Sherry, love your haircut. And a lot of you with no faces. It's all good. Thanks for spending your time. Prasant, RQ, David. Wow, I love this. Dipto. Hey, Yoni. Hardeep, how are you? So I'm actually looking at, very exciting, guys. I have two screens now. And actually, I have three, not just two. I'm trying to see if there is a lag from this two. It looks like the lag is probably about 2-3 seconds. I'll take that over 30 seconds from last time. Okay, so let's get started. I want to talk about, okay, first of all, before we get started, let me check here. Guys, there are 70 people that's watching right now, and I have 30 thumbs up. Come on, everybody. Give me some motivation here. Give me a thumbs up. By the way, the Google algorithm loves the thumbs up. They acknowledge thumbs up a lot more powerful than the star. Even though I love my star emoji, give me some thumbs up. Let me know you guys want to hear my personal example from Amazon. Every single example I'm giving you guys every single week comes from Amazon. I know I don't want to say that's all you care about, but really that's all a lot of you guys do care about. Hi, Celine. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're excited. If you still need me to earn my trust for you, that's fine. But give me a thumbs up anyway, okay? Because it motivates me. It tells me that I'm waking you up and you're listening. All right, let's get this show going. So just a little background on how I should answer the questions. Everything I do is around the STAR method. If you know what I'm talking about, give me star on the bottom. Look at Dipto. He's like always 10 steps ahead of me. If you know what I'm talking about, give me a star. I am going to tell you a time of one of my weaknesses in the work environment, okay? 3 things to keep in mind. 1, never talk about anything personal. Do not give a personal example. Always work related. Second thing you guys have to keep in mind as you're giving an example to any question is, what does that have to do with the position you're applying to? Okay, so assuming that I am applying to a head of talent for a mid-sized company or a recruiting leader for, I don't know, like Microsoft or something like that. So I will give you that example. At the moment, I'm not working for any employer. This is my own business. So take it however you want. And number 3, lastly, know the STAR method very, very well. Know the STAR method first before you even know the leadership principle, okay? It will save your life. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'll drop the link as in all of my video where you can download my STAR method. Again, it is an example of my most innovative career at Amazon as well, okay? If you follow the template to the T, okay? I did not invent the STAR method. I don't know who did, to be honest, but the STAR method really came from Amazon. Amazon is the only company that I know that preach and practice, which I'm also a trainer for making great hiring decisions for 5 years. And this is what I teach. The STAR method, guys. I'm giving it to you right here. So back then it was more teaching of peeling the onions, teaching the interviewers how to interview you guys. So what I've done is I have turned the table around and create a template that I know my audience can land an offer with any company using that similar format, but not the exact format. So the template that you will be downloading, if you haven't already, right? It is my thing, and I actually have built it through my experience. If you follow it to T, you should be able to answer in 1 minute or less. Someone is going to ask me in here, like you do every single week, 1 minute or less, okay? And if you disagree with me, I have a lot of my coaching community in there. They will jump in and correct you. They know that because we've done it every single week in our coaching, okay? So let's get started. I don't know why I'm nervous, guys. This is like, 8 months I've been live streaming now? Okay, let me just get myself together. Just hang on. I need some... Thank you for the star. Okay. So, Holly, tell me about one of your weaknesses. Okay. By the way, guys, I didn't write it all out. I'm looking at my bullet right now. And my bullet, I can't share my screen because there's a lot of stuff in my background. It's a little messy right now, but I will in the near future. Okay. It says STAR. That's it. The whole purpose of using STAR is don't try to memorize everything, but use it as an outline to share your story. Okay. So I would like to share an example of one of my weaknesses, which is immediately it came to me is customer obsession. Let me walk you through what I mean by that. As a recruiting leader at Amazon Business several years ago, I helped build the engineering team from scratch in the Austin, Texas office. The biggest problem I was trying to solve at the time was the business team had about 30-ish engineering, as well as several technical leader. Again, these are the team that was built from ground up. So I wanted to provide the utmost new employee and also customer, everyone shops at Amazon.com, experience by helping them put an onboarding HR plan together, as we don't have any HR representation on site at the time because the Austin office was literally new. New, as in we are the first team in it, and there's about 25 to 30 of us. Even though my business leader and my new hire were pleased with the effort that I put in, effort meaning not just doing my job 100% of the time, I was also a trainer. I flew out there every single month and we continued doing recruiting events. So those are what I would consider my baby project per se. So I really want to make sure that they're being taken care of. However, the feedback from my direct manager wasn't positive. The feedback I got was I was diving too deep into the weed. But I was very customer obsessed. I want to make sure that either, external or internal, as long as you're working with me, I want you to feel like you're being taken care of and excited and motivated to start your journey with Amazon. Stop. That shouldn't be any more than 1 minute. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm not looking at my note or anything. This is just purely off of experience. That's the power of storytelling, guys. By the way, drop me a comment in the bottom. Let me know if I make sense. Let me know if I'm clear. I'm not saying that my examples are perfect, but if you don't hear anything out of my weaknesses, I want you to hear what problem did I solve. But first of all, what is my weaknesses, which is customer obsession? What problem was I solving? I literally just gave it to you. I said the biggest problem I was trying to solve is that there's no onboarding there, meaning people started in a week or so and they don't know what to do with no email, don't know what I-9 are and everything. I pretty much put the entire onboarding program for the Austin team for a while until I was able to force a lot of approval to get an HR business partner to take care of my team. I want to say my team because that's literally the business that I support in Austin. Okay. And why was that a bad thing as well? Not only that I'm very customer obsessed, you can sense, I want you to sense the effort that I put into it. I have multiple jobs. No one's asking me to do this. In fact, my managers tell me to stop it. Focus on your role and do really good. I didn't listen because I saw a gap that my business team needs me and I just jumped in. And that's also bias for action, right? So guess what, guys? When it comes down to performance reviewed, the same manager who gave me the negative feedback says, Holly, I don't understand what you just did. I mean, your customer loves you. I'm like, yeah, of course they do, because I am like this to them. I take care of my business. I take care of my candidates. At the end of the day, guess what? I'm a career coach and some of them are reaching out to me. Okay. So you want to be very, very good with the people that you interact with. It doesn't matter what role they're in. Now is your turn. I want to hear your story. Don't make it into a negative thing. For example, don't mention things like, my weakness is work-life balance, but tell me a story. Dive deep to the point, like what I just did. What if you're going to make a statement? I'm only putting that out because literally hundreds of you reaches out to me so often on LinkedIn, and you're asking the same questions. To be honest, I don't have time to read through all of that. Some of you copy and paste your message from the recruiter from Amazon to me. I don't have that as well, but should you be interested to work with me, I'll leave everything in the link below. And I also have a couple member from my VIP membership, and that's really the core focus for me right now. Should you need, I'm not forcing you, should you need more help from me, okay? So I'm really excited, guys. I want to hear some example. I want you guys to make it really hard for me, okay? I want you to give me your toughest questions, but the first one is your weaknesses. If you don't know how to start creating your weaknesses, I'll be surprised if nobody asks you that, by the way, okay? So if you don't know how to start, just basically put it down and say, Holly, I don't have a weakness. Whatever you say, I don't have a weakness, or give me something to work with rather than giving me nothing. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Interviewing for a strategic program manager. Awesome. Senior client lead recruiter. Hi, Angela. Now, Angela, are you actually at Amazon right now? I mean, the senior client lead recruiter title is usually an Amazon thing. Sorry, something just got into my eyes. I'm not getting emotional. I'm not getting emotional, I promise. I have really bad allergy. Let me. I'm good. I am going to see. I want to go straight to the meat because I'm on fire right now. This is my second cup of coffee. RQ says, love the videos. I'm watching tons in preparing for my upcoming virtual interview. By the way, RQ, I also have a template that you can download. It is called Video Interview Checklist. It shows you every single thing to a T, how you can get this look. Not necessarily, you don't have to go that far beyond to have a light in the background, but it shows you how to look sharp, what research you should know about, and where you can get those information, okay? So make sure you check out all the links in the description later on. Yoni, welcome. It's your first time. Jamal, let me know what your weaknesses are, Jamal. David, happy Tuesday. By the way, I hope this is your LinkedIn profile picture, David. You guys check this, even this one right here, Sally. I'm going to do a quick, what your LinkedIn profile photo look, check this out here. Let me just scroll down and find the ones that I actually like. Not so much, but sure. Mark, and I'm just laughing at some of yours. Here you go, Ed. I like you see that? These are I really like yours, Adula. Hi, Adula. How are you, my friend? Hey, Nitu. Look at this. I really love just the overall. Will. How are you? Okay, I'm not going to do it for all of them. If you guys take a look, check out the LinkedIn profile photo. I hope this is how you show up on LinkedIn. It's clean. You're showing your happy face. You're smiling. Ed, maybe smile a little bit there for me, please. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to LinkedIn profile. Your image is a lot more powerful than you guys think. I know this is not about LinkedIn profile, but I just feel like I have to because some of you, I can tell, is very selfie-ish. And I just want to do you some justice and mention that, okay? Alrighty, let's get started. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the star. Thank you so much for the star. You guys know that it always pumps me up every single time when I see star. Why? Because in the next 2 hours that we will be spending together, it is all going to be how you're going to use the star to answer any behavioral questions or any questions at all, okay? And if you miss my example and also in coaching all of the community on what is your most innovative things you've done, how do you solve a problem with little to no data, as well as, what was the last one, guys? Help me out here. Failure. Tell me about the biggest career failure in your life. And today is give me one of your weaknesses. You can look at the previous live stream, okay? Alrighty, Gabriella, first time here, but I have been watching your videos. I have an interview tomorrow for Tech University Program Associate Solution Architect. That sounds like a really fun space, just recruiting, tech recruiting alone. That's awesome. Fingers crossed for you, and please do let me know how it goes. Let's see, who else can give me a tough questions? Sally says, I applied for Market Manager, Amazon Device. That's my baby, Device Team. South Seattle. Does that mean you're in South Seattle or there's a South Seattle office? I know that their device team or their lab is in Bellevue. Phone interview went well and intent for a round of virtual interview 2 to 4. Well, good luck to you. Sally, if you haven't already, I would highly recommend that you look at my Amazon Leadership Principle playlist. So what that is giving you a very brief, it's only about 15 minutes long, guys, a really brief introduction of what each and every one of my top 8 leadership principle. If you can answer those top 8 and the questions I have in there are separated, 2 for individual contributor, we call them IC, and the other 2 for leadership or people manager, okay? Obviously, if you're interviewing for an IC position, go focus in answering those questions by using the STAR method. Again, I have a template for everything. I have an example for everything, guys. You just have to download and start doing that, okay? Good luck with your interview tomorrow, Yoni. I know. Go, Sally, go. See, this is why I love community and group coaching. This really rocks my world, guys, when I see my community getting pumped up and people are really genuinely trying to help each other out. Awesome. Jamal says, I have mine Thursday. Oh, well, good luck, you guys. Fingers crossed for you all, okay? And I'm always interested to know. But if you guys land an offer, I want you to come back on Tuesday and share with everyone because we do have return folks every single week. Hi, Sin. How are you? Hello, Dave. I have a Dave and David. Awesome. Marco says, I have my AWS SDE interview this Thursday and I'm nervous. Marco and everybody else, and I do get a lot of messages as well, even right on my YouTube platform that says that I'm really nervous. My interview is tomorrow to next week. What should I do? Guys, the best tip I could possibly ever give you is you need to push out your interview if you're not ready, okay? You only have one shot to interview at Amazon. Yes, they say that you can re-interview 6 months to a year, but let me give you an example. If you're an SDE and you can't code, they're not going to re-interview you for at least, I want to say a year to 2 years, more so in the 2 year, because if you can't solve data structure problem and you can't code and you're in the same job or you're being affected by the pandemic, you haven't grown in your technical skills, okay? Reading a book or taking an online course is not going to have you pass the interview. I have a lot of my community member as well on the tech side that says, you know, Holly, do you have a tech program? The only reason why I don't touch anything that has to do with the technical piece, it's kind of like asking me, Holly, I want to take a course and be able to ace it within a couple hours. No, guys. Interviewing is a skill. It is an art. It takes months to master at it. Especially at Amazon, it's going to take you a bare minimum of 2 months to get really, really good. The ones who landed an offer with my community in less than a month or so, that is because they have been studying up, I want to say their asses. They've been studying like to the cow comes home for months before they even reach me. So they already know what the leadership principles are. They have seen my STAR method videos. So by the time they come to me, they have already solved 50% of the problem and I have to come in and help them solve the rest. That's communication and articulating their answer, okay? If you think you can get a job and you're feeling nervous right now, you don't have your stories, and your story is long-winded and you talk more than a minute, I can almost guarantee that you're not going to get an offer from Amazon or any employer. I hate to say that, but you guys keep on coming back to me every single week because you know that I'm telling you the truth. I'm trying to save you time. Okay? So, and if you're an SDE, you know, I don't know what level you're interviewing with, or TPM or engineering manager, solution architect, anything that has to do with technical question. By the way, there's only 20% tech questions. That 80% is still behavioral questions. Now you guys know why I talk so passionately about my top pick behavioral questions and also my top pick must-have leadership principle. What are they? Customer obsession, deliver results, bias for action, your ability to think big and dive deep at the bare minimum. Those 5 you must have. Your answer, it doesn't matter what question it is, need to meet those 5 leadership principles, and that's how you will get an offer. Okay? And we'll talk more about that in a later time. If you guys have more questions, drop it below. But I am preaching for a moment here because so many of you guys, cut it out, stop it. Stop. Okay? I've had people who thank me for pushing their interviewing out 3 weeks. Listen, guys, Amazon's not going anywhere. They're the only company that's hiring like crazy right now. And guess what? If that role is filled, that's fine. Go try to get your interview with another position. You're already in the system. Would you rather sit back, be great to interview and ace your upcoming interview, or to be told that you fell and you're not invited to come back for another 2 years? You guys pick. Procrastination is my biggest weaknesses. Prestart, you cannot say that. Okay, let's try that again for you. Nicole, I'm having an interview for Amazon in Germany on Thursday, so I'm watching every single video. I love it. I love it so much. Look, check this out, guys. Now, In average, typically there is about 6 to 8 people in every single Tuesday's live stream. If they could make it, they will come in to share that they landed an offer with Amazon. If you watch the last, I say 10 episodes or so in my weekly Tuesday live stream, you guys do the math, right? There's an average of at least bare minimum 25 people at least every single month who land an offer just by watching every single one of my video. I'm not telling you to do so. I'm not telling you to do anything. It's up to you to tell yourself how you want to show up. Okay? The material is all there for you guys. Yes, I see a weakness coming in from Usha. Usha? Okay. Thank you for being brave. You guys drop all your stuff down there. Okay, let's play here. I am very detail-oriented person. I like it. Oftentimes, I get into details of the problem, and all I need to do is give the highlights. Is that all? I know that YouTube only allow you to put 200 characters. Is that all? It looks like that's all. Okay. I like that. That's actually a very good detail-oriented is not a bad thing. You guys see where Usha is getting. He gets it. Okay. Your weaknesses is not a negative thing on you and your performance or on your performance that will affect your job or your role. It is really your strength. Okay. I like that you are a detail-oriented person. Oftentimes you get into the weed of the problem where all you need to do is to give the highlight. I would also maybe end it with like maybe a brief example or maybe a little bit deeper, because earlier on I gave an example of the biggest problem. I actually said, well, the biggest problem that I had to solve was this. For you, you could have simply said, my ultimate weakness is that I could be too detailed rather than just staying at the high level. Let me give you an example of a problem that I was able to solve, but in order for me to get there, here's what I've done. Do you see where I'm going, Usha? So I would frame it a little bit more where it doesn't sound so generic and you're not giving the interviewer any meat to work with. All right? Mark says, my weakness is going deep, being detail-oriented, professionals versus speed. Need to find balance between the two. I like that. So Mark, if I were you, I would say something along the line of, my weakness is that I like to dive too deep into the detailed rather than finding a balance of being able to solve the problem with enough information in order to influence other in delivering results. Let me give you an example quickly. And quickly, when I say let me give you an example, you can do that in 2 sentences. What is it? So guys, if you haven't already, when you drop your weaknesses, you just saw what I've done with my example, right? I think I talked for about 30 seconds. You gave me a 1 line, which is good. It is more of your situation. So what problem did you try to solve, guys? No one is mentioning what problem you solved with your weaknesses. Yoni says, thank you. I love you since I saw your first video. You were just an angel. Well, you're welcome. Angela says, I have an interview on Monday for an L6. Oh, that must be a client lead. Let me know how it goes, Angela. For an L6 position, you really have to demonstrate your ability to earn trust and how you manage stakeholders. What is especially for recruiting, right? What is the volume of recs you're used to fill? What is your ROI? How many positions were you able to close? Not manage, not make an offer to. How many of your candidates accepted an offer monthly, quarterly, and yearly? Also, what was the largest org that you had to support and the largest amount of position that you had to take at one point? Absolutely. What is your partnership with your sourcer? I'm not sure if you are a L6 sourcer. Client lead could be a number of things. I know that some team within Amazon have full life cycle and they call themselves client lead. Some of them are just closer. Closer meaning you just have to close the rack. Okay. So you have to be very, very specific. Not specific. You have to give a specific example for those behavioral questions. And while you're interviewing at Amazon, a lot of my clients have provided feedback to me that it's a little messy right now internally at Amazon. So if you could please, after you land the job at Amazon, make sure that you treat your candidates still with the top tier utmost respect. Even though we are in a pandemic, there's a really high volume, probably like 10x more than usual for Amazon, but recruiter really shouldn't drop the ball on their candidates, okay? Yes, I'm calling you all out, recruiters at Amazon, if you're watching. Hi, Lester. How are you? Sally also said, so that's good. It's good that a lot of you have a common example on being detail-oriented. That detail-oriented tends to be my weakness, obsessive, making my idea to be heard. That is good. Give me an example, Sally, okay? Just give me an example on how you do that, but do it very quickly. Jamal says, coming up with story for my star methods. Jamal and everyone else, if you guys are struggling with your story and you truly don't know how to start, and here's my recommendation. By the way, I'll have a training webinar that you have to register for. By the way, all my trainings are free. When I say training and webinar, they're all free. It will come up in the upcoming 2 weeks as soon as my son is in daycare and there's no kid running around me. I'll be more than happy to provide more training for you guys, okay? It is coming up where I'm actually teaching you how to put your story together. It could be very intense, okay? And what I mean by that is you guys need to know what your professional branding is. If you don't know what you've done, for instance, tell me about the most complex problem you've solved. And if you have to think about it right now for more than 5 seconds, then you probably don't have it. Okay, then we need to sit down and really pull out what you're good at in your background. And let's look at your credential, your work experience, and drag a lot of that out because oftentimes my clients don't realize that they have solved huge problems or scalable, large scope problem like an Amazon or other bigger player until I pointed it out to them. All right. So you really need to know your own branding. I want you to evaluate your own credential, Jamal. Okay. And start picking out your story from there. You have to. That's the only way. And if you still can't figure it out, then you should connect with me on LinkedIn. And I can tell you more about my VIP membership. Okay. And a lot of them are in it right now. I mean, in here. JJJ, how are you, Jay? I'm looking back at this screen right now just to make sure if my audio is down, my eyes are on you guys. Okay, they don't ask you directly what your weaknesses is. I had this questions on Friday. It was worded, how do you improve on something you weren't strong at? What resources did you use? The weakness questions can come in a lot of different form, right? Weaknesses questions to me is earning trust. All right. Earning trust meaning they wanted to see it's earning trust. It's not that this leadership principle is actually one of my favorite. They have removed it about 2 years ago. So it's vocally self-critical. They wanted to see if you're self-aware. It is highly important at any company and not just Amazon that you're self-aware of your strength, your weaknesses, areas that you fell short. In this case, tell me about the time, what you did for improvement on something you weren't strong at. Same thing. Right? Any viewer could ask the same questions 10 different times, which is why I like to get right down to the meat. If you know what your weaknesses are, you could also turn that into the most innovative thing you've done, depending on your background. The example that I gave you guys earlier, just to give you a little more content, the fact that I saw that there's a gap, there's no human resource representative, and I have about 25, 30 people who I know feel very lost starting, and a couple of them are leaders. They're leaders. I'm not going to let them just hang out, and when they're starting soon, they don't even know who to submit their ID, for example, basic things like that. So you need to be able to demonstrate where you see the gap, be able to take your bias for action to initiate it, drove it, earn trust from others, invent and simplify the process. You guys see where I'm going here? So just by the answer example that I just gave you, I have met customer obsession because my internal customer, which once upon a time was external, like you guys candidate, I've earned their trust across all the business leadership team. Customer obsession is absolutely there. Having backbone, disagree, and commit, even though I was told not to focus on that, I should not waste my time in doing HR work. Recruiter and HR, they don't have the same functionality, by the way. I know all of you guys think the recruiter reach out to you. They never reach out to you. The recruiter does, not HR. Okay? So I've also answered invent and simplify, insist on higher standard, meaning that I'm actually being very thoughtful on my approach to making sure that they have everything they need to start. System access. Am I entering their information correctly in the internal system? It's not even part of my job, but I do it anyway. You guys hear where I'm going? I can go on and on and on. Frugality, right? So rather than thinking about hiring a consultant to come in and help that have the HR background, I'm just going to do it because I don't care if I have to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I know it's temporarily until we're able to hire the right individual. I would rather sacrifice that and put in more time than to just get someone in the back end to help out. And I have to spend my time getting them up to speed anyway. All right. So you wanted to be able to give an answer, sit back and allow them to ask you 1,000 probing questions like what I just did. Okay, I would eventually share all of this with you, but I want you to ask me probing questions. How, why can't you hire? Then I'll tell you because they don't have funding. I want you to come and ask me all that stuff. So my one answer would hit 100% of the LP. So if you are able to construct your answer thoughtfully enough, you should be able to hit a lot of the leadership principle. Mayor minor expression. I've joined Amazon as a software developer. You helped me from day one. Lots of prayer and support your work. Oh, wait, where's my bell? Hang on. Yay! Congratulations! Thank you for making the time to stop by. You're going to have a very interesting ride and a great adventure at Amazon. I'm pretty sure you'll do great work for them. Divya, site reliability engineer, where we operate, support multiple production application as being one-stop solution to all depending application. We got many requests like providing links. So is this one of your weaknesses that you are sharing? Knowledge sharing, debugging issue. I feel this is my weakness. It costs me to deviate from PI items and need to allocate extra. So you know what, Diva, thank you so much, by the way, for sharing this with me. I like your weakness, but I stopped reading it after the first sentence because I didn't know what your weaknesses was. So let me jump in here real quick. I would simply just start. First of all, your weaknesses was unclear. I have to wait until about 10 seconds later. My attention span is probably at a couple seconds. For normal recruiter, maybe 10 seconds. Okay, so I would simply just say that my weakness is, I'm like, as you can see, I'm struggling right now in finding your weaknesses. Your first sentence should be very clear. As a site reliability engineer, I felt that my weaknesses is around, what is it? Okay, because of this, and I'm still looking for what you're trying to tell me. That is not a good sign in an interview setting. So I would rephrase all of that by using the STAR method. Be very clear what I just gave you, what your situation is. Secondly, what problem are you trying to solve for with that weakness as a reliability engineer? And what was the end result? Your weaknesses should not be a bad thing. It's just something that you're very obsessed over. Think of it that way. Okay. In my case, it was very obsessively customer obsession. I can give you guys more example, but I just wanted to stay focused at the moment. Pending tasks that I need to work on. You need to rephrase that whole thing. All right, my friend? Padmini, I spend too much time while writing analysis after, this must be your weaknesses. I spend too much time while writing analysis after dive deep. I aim for 100% perfection, report, and sometimes miss deadlines. How can I talk about this? That's actually pretty good. I would simply, well, first of all, like I've mentioned earlier, guys, it's good to give a specific example than to be so generic. I, for one, don't like generic because I want to make sure that I'm hiring the right person, not just for my team, but for the company that I support. Okay. So with big organization, at least at Amazon, they like very specific example. I would simply just say, My weaknesses is my diving deep. Let me explain. That's your situation. You see how quickly I went through that? Let me explain. Give an example. What problem were you solving? I like to aim for 100% perfection in report and sometimes miss deadlines. Let me explain what that means. What is it, right? I was trying to solve a problem ABC. Where I missed the deadline is XYZ because I spend a lot of focus diving deep into the data to make sure that the information I'm providing for my customers are accurate. And because of that, it had delayed the process of completion. What I've learned from that is to just find the happy medium between being too detail oriented with checking back with my customers more and looping them in at an earlier stage to prevent that from happening. Just call it a day. Stop right there. But without having your story and without knowing anything about your background, it's hard for me to give you more content. At the bare minimum, I like to see an example from you. Good job with your situation. Yoni, I've been working for Amazon for 2 years and I finally decided to apply for PA. And I know it's not a big position, but I'm so scared. Um, the thing is, even for internal transfer, you still have to interview, guys. Let's just say you get a job at Amazon and you're interested to go with a different team. Even though the hiring bar is the same across all the team, but the scope, not, I shouldn't say the scope, the project is completely different. So one team, for instance, if you're from consumer and you're interested to move to AWS, then they would want it to dive a little deeper on your exposure to cloud infrastructure, just your knowledge, your ability to learn and to dive deep. They're not asking you to solve technical problem, but you need to be able to do your homework. And just because you work out really well for one team, it doesn't mean that you be a great fit for another team. Hope that answers your question. Don't be nervous. You're already there. Well, that means if you could survive at Amazon for 2 years, 2 years at Amazon is really 8 years at other big companies. Uh, After the first year, you should really feel like you've been there for 5 years. Is the speed and the amount of work that you have that you're able to accomplish and achieve for the environment. Don't be nervous. Just make sure that you know the other team very, very well. And I'm pretty sure you have already built rapport with your future peers. Hi, RJ. RJ says, I am Javier, one of your new LinkedIn contact. Thanks for all the content you posted so far. I'm interviewing for a principal business development role at Amazon. Tips? Yes, know your stuff well. Know it well in the back of your mind. If you're biz dev, I recently just hired. I sound like I just hired. I've recently helped a couple of even VP and principal business development leader that landed a position at Amazon. And what really worked for them is leadership principle and having their story. It doesn't matter what position you're interviewing for, guys. It doesn't matter what level, but if you're a 7, which is a principal, a senior or principal is the same level, you need to articulate with your communication example crystal clear. If you don't have specific example, knowing when to stay high level with depth, similar to the example weakness example that I just provided for you, you won't make it. Okay. So you need to frame your questions around the leadership principle. Should you need more information about that, reach out to me via LinkedIn so I know who you are. Sorry, Javier. It's just that I am not sure if I have read your message yet. If I have, just ignore me. I'm trying to usually go through as much as I could within a 1 week gap. Okay. Dave, will you link your website where the templates are located? Yes, Dave, I will do so. And also everything about my business is on all the link in all of my YouTube video, by the way, but I will make sure to do it on this one. Generally, you see it towards the end of the day. Fami, how are you? I actually really like this profile picture. Check that out. Awesome. I will be joining the loop when can I repeat my story? Never repeat your story. What tips for the loop? What does that mean? What tip to the loop for and what shall I ask them? Well, if you looked at my previous stream, I actually have a template of questions to ask the interviewer. Okay, guys, don't use the same question. You could use similar scenario. I could use what I just told you guys about my weaknesses, questions, areas to make improvement. I can turn that around to tell me about time where you have invented a software or program. I could use the same scenario, but I'm not going to say the exact same thing. My situation could be the same, but the scenario is completely different. Let me explain myself. Let me tell you a time where I was a recruiting lead for Amazon Austin for the new facility. What I've done was I've created a training and onboarding program to help the brand new office build a team from scratch, from 0 to 50 within 6 months. And I would start going from there. I've also leveraged 4 very solid recruiting senior level engineer as well as engineering leader to help form type of technical and behavioral questions and start training new hire as we are expanding the team for Austin and leveraging other teams remotely so that they can help be part of the interviewers and also be 100% calibrated. You guys see where I'm going here? I'm basically using this very similar situation. Austin, new offices, but I'm not talking about HR process anymore. I've moved on. I've talked about something else. So if you're going to recycle any story, you can talk about that situation that you're at. It's still building, right? And I repeated myself, I'm building a team from scratch, but I'm not putting the HR presentation together or anything like that. I'm talking about getting the team interview ready so we could expand and continue hiring more engineers for that specific location. So you need to come to term that you need to have more than one example in the different areas. Okay? Thank you, Ed. Ed says, thank you. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Yes, prepared. By the way, thank you for the 61 thumbs up. And there's 90 of you guys watching right now. What's going on, guys? If you're not satisfied for my tips and my webinar right now, I want you to drop your concern on the bottom. And I want you to ask questions. If you're sitting in the back office, okay, I want you to be brave. Drop your questions down. What can I do? So you can give me that thumbs up. Give me that thumbs up, guys. Let Google know that you're watching. Let me know you're watching because I would love to know who you are. Jagar, how are you? In the past few months, I found it difficult to delegate activities to rate to my customer accounts. Good, including customer service, project management. I'm really passionate about what I do, and I believe I got the extra mile to help support my customer. However, that's too long already, my friend. However, the problem I have, I end up doing too much. My customer contacts me directly instead of the customer support line. It sounds like what you need to do is also learning how to draw boundaries between you and your customers. So they know when they should reach out to you for what scenario. You should probably set up some automation so that you could help tackle those problems before it reaches you or reaches anyone else or get escalated. As a result, I take more time from selling. The step I have taken to address in this: first, speak to my manager about the problem. I knew the intent of the problem and list my concern. Is that it, Jagger? Okay, that is too long. The piece of advice I would give you is your first sentence, you are basically explaining, you're spending a lot of time explaining what your situation is when you can just go to the meat. Go to the meat. The first thing you should say is, my weaknesses is I invest too much time upfront with my customers. Okay, that's good. So what is the problem I'm trying to solve here is, you see where I'm going? I have already moved on after using 3-4 words, and then I moved on. The problem I'm trying to solve is, having to go extra mile to help support my customers. And I want a little bit more detail on this example. You talk a lot about the role, and you mentioned customer a number of times, but I don't really know what type of problem that you were solving. So it's nice for you to say, I could be over detail and invest a whole lot of time in my customers upfront, and I'm trying to find the balance. Let me give you an example where a customer reached out to me repeatedly of the same issues. What is that issue, right? How I am trying to prevent this from happening in the near future is building a better process flow by doing this. That's it. You're done. Call it a day. Gayatri, how are you? My device team for questions like what could be future that I would like to add also need help with sneering weaknesses and failure questions. Hey guys, if you don't have the questions right now at this moment, that is fine, but you need to, I mean, I would rather you try and be all over the place than to have nothing. Unless if you're interested, as I mentioned, to be part of my coaching community, you could reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. These are the stuff that we do on a daily basis where we can't talk, where we also share our star template as well, should you be interested. But I would rather you guys give yourself a shot, just try, than to hold yourself back. Because the people who are dropping the questions right now at least are getting something in return. Okay? Prestart, I was not successfully for QA manager interview in 2008. Can I reapply for the same role? It depends. Even though it has been almost 3 years, Prestart, the questions I have for you is, have you grown from that position? Are you still doing the same thing? If you are, then you're most likely not going to get the job. And if you have to think about it, you need to ask yourself this questions, right? For instance, as a QA manager, what was the most difficult and complex technical questions that you have to solve for your end customer? What was the biggest piece of feedback take away from your direct managers where you didn't do well as a QA manager back in 2018? If you have to think, basically, I want to know your failure. I want to know if you're self-aware, and you need to quickly give me your answer. If you're struggling with those 2 questions already, then this is not a good time for you to apply for a job. Guys, let me say this to you guys, and I'm going to repeat myself until the cow comes home. Do not apply for positions specific at Amazon and get an interview, get your final interview, and then contact me to help prep. I have declined a lot of requests to help my customers because I don't want to force you to work with me. What you're seeing here is not going to change. I'm very raw, and it could be very tense in any of my coaching services. And my customers community know that I do yell at them. Yes, I do slap their hands from time to time. So you have to be ready, okay? It's going to take us at least a month to build really strong story for you. So if you're already in the process and you're coming to me, you expect to get a job in 2 weeks, I may not be able to help you. I'm being very honest here. Unless you're coming to me, I looked at your profile, you're coming, if you're coming from Apple, I've seen that. Okay. Where I didn't do well with not a whole lot, but several of my customers with big high tech company, even from Microsoft and Apple since the pandemic, is because those leaders don't listen for my coaching. When I say, let's get together and work on your questions more clearly, and you have to show me you're able to articulate with star. And if they don't listen for what I'm saying and don't invest the time in learning the leadership principle, they will fail. Guess what, guys? They'll message me a couple weeks later to tell me if they failed. I know, because you didn't listen to exactly how I'm coaching you. All the people who's coming on here to tell me they land a job offer, they're not even involved in my coaching services. It's simply listening like this every Tuesday, showing up and dropping the questions. There's so many of you guys, and I'm so grateful. I'm going to say this one more time. If you are not ready to interview specifically for Amazon, they only hired professionals and leaders who are productive, and you can do the job right now. Okay? And if you can't do that, you guys need to push your interview as far out as possible. My advice to you, at least 3 weeks, and get your shit together. Get your shit together, 3 weeks time. And if you're going to reach out to me, I also want to evaluate my customer before accepting them, because I love my community. You guys know that. You're here, quite a number of you guys are here. I want to make sure that I am attracting the right audience who are genuinely wanting to help the community as well, who have the background where I can help you. If not, I don't want to waste your time or money. Okay, I'm doing you guys a favor. So I want to spend the time to look at you, figure out what gap you're trying to fill right now, if I could help you before I say, yes, come and join us. Okay, I've repeated myself 3 times. Push your interview back if you're not ready. All right. I think I said enough of that. Are you guys still watching, or have I left the audience for screaming so loud? Oh, great. You're still here. All right. Home training with kiddos. Oh, that's cool. Do you have a daycare? It's home training with kiddos. That's cool. Holly, could you clarify the difference between leadership principle and regular behavioral question? That's an excellent answer. Excellent question. In some of your video, I saw that we need 2 to 3 examples for each leadership principle. Yes. Let me explain myself. The more stories you have, the better. One of my customer actually came up with 28 examples, 2 examples for each and every single one. He recycled his story by saying it completely different with the example that I just gave you on my weaknesses, and also tell me a time that you have invented a software or program or process in place. I use the same example of my team from Austin. Okay. So you know who I'm talking about, because I know you're still watching here. Hint, hint. So it's good for you to get down as many examples as possible. You should, one, know the leadership principle very well, the 14 leadership principle, what they stand for. Example, earning trust. You need to know what that is so that when you create your answer using the STAR methods, it could tie into the leadership principle. All right. So the behavioral question is the second thing that you need to put a lot of your energy in. Focus on the behavioral questions, and as you're answering, as you're providing an answer for those behavioral questions, put it down. Which one of those leadership principles did you just meet? Which one, right? So write all of that down. What I'm trying to teach you guys is no different from my community, except I'm sharing my screen and I'm actually watching your questions and answer and critiquing it for you. That's really the major difference between the two. Focus on the behavioral questions, answer them around the leadership principle, know the leadership principle extremely well. Ed says, in the loop, they ask behavioral and what other type of questions I'm going for a senior PM. Well, my friend, I would say 90% of the question will be behavioral question, which is all of them. All of them, all of my top pick. Oh, sorry guys, it's blinking in the background. Hang on 1 second, please. That is weird. There's a timer in the background. You know what? I don't have time to shut it off right now. My attention is still with you guys. I hope you like disco lights. I'm not going to dance. Oh, where's my music? I'm not going to dance with you, but I'm not going to turn my back just in case it shuts down my audio, any of that stuff. So for all of the program management position, the 10% is really your exposure to the tech environment, right? For example, what tools were, depending on the project, right? I don't know what team you're interviewing for. For example, if you're a program manager for consumer, then what kind of tools, what kind of software tools have you used? What systems have you used? And what are the requirements that are listed on your job description that you must have? So you need to have the exposure in using those tools and resources, because as a program managers, how did you move around in a full life cycle? What do you use to build them? Right? What is significant about your role that could integrate into the team that you're interviewing for? Let me know if that makes sense, Ed. Every single team or vertical is very different. But if I'm interviewing as a PM for AWS, then I better know what cloud services are, cloud platform is, okay? I don't need to know how to architecture or build a cloud because I'm non-tech, but I need to know at the bare minimum, what is the environment? What does the environment speaks for? And you need to know what cloud infrastructure is, okay? Marco, thank you, Holly, for replying to my comment. So much inspiration. Well, thank you so much, my friend. Interview for a junior SDE position. What will receive? We will find out if we receive an offer this Monday. Yay! Well, first of all, congratulate from making this far. Please do let me know. Oh, there you go. It was getting a little bit too bright here. Please do let me know what the outcome is, okay? So that we can all be excited for you and congratulate you with your offer. Jay, there is no wait period. I interviewed twice within a month. Well, Jay, there is absolutely a wait period. It's depending on your feedback, okay? that is also kind of vague. So I'm not really sure what position you interview for and what was the result. You may not be a good fit for this team and for a different team, but generally, if this is happening, it's probably a level down or the rec is closed. They like you, but they don't have an open role for you, and you can interview for a different position. But if you didn't do well in your initial interview, then most likely you won't be interviewing for a different team. Okay, so again, it really has to do with what you're bringing on the table and how well you do in your feedback. Hey, Jaggard. Jagger says, as a result, more from selling. Yeah, Jagger, I like where you're going at this, but I would need to see a more concise example from you. So drop it in our coaching platform, and I'll make sure to look through that later on today for you. Okay? Sebastian, can you please list the questions that are most asked in the Amazon behavioral questions? Sebastian, as I mentioned, they are all in my video. You just have to watch them. It's the Amazon Leadership Principle. That is the playlist. And by the way, everything that has the word Amazon in it, generally, if you're looking at that stream, all the questions are in there. Dave us who? Dave us who? Hello to you. I have been through the first tech and second behavioral interviewed. I have a virtual interview coming up. The position is for control engineer. Any tips for suggestion? That's everything we just talked about, okay? You still need to answer all of the behavioral questions that are not anything different from any other role. And of course, as an engineer on the technical side. Will. My greatest weakness is that I tend to not ask for help. Same here, because you hold yourself accountable. This leads me to be independent and work quickly, which can become difficult for me to ask for help when I need it. I love your first sentence, Will. I feel like I need an example of where it could be really difficult. I need to hear a diver deep from you. Drop it in the coaching community, and I'll provide my feedback for you. Deep T, my weakness is I speak every situation in elaborated way as Amazon looked for a star answer. I can't keep it brief to 2 to 3 minutes. My friend, brief meaning 1 minute or less. Okay? 1 minute or less. If you're going to talk 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to bore whomever you're talking to within the first 30 seconds. Okay? Again, should you need more help, download my STAR template and follow that. If you need additional help for more than my template, which I'm literally giving you my example and my exact format, everything that I'm teaching in my coaching community, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. Riding Hood. It's been a long time. I think you missed the last 2 live stream. It was kind of weird not having you around. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me. Gabriella, how are you? I'm looking over. Hey, Zoe, Sheila. Okay, Gabriella, my biggest weakness is that I want to make everyone happy. That's customer obsession. I would simply just say that my biggest weakness is customer obsession. Sometimes it's difficult to please all of my customers. Let me give you an example. Okay, I love all of your situation, but you guys are lacking the example for me. If my background is bugging you, I'm sorry. I just don't want to turn around, make any movement. As you all know, sometimes my audio would get cut off. I don't want to touch anything. I want to carry on. Giddy! And besides, no one's live stream with disco light. So here you are, guys. I'm doing this for you. Giddy says, I'm studying up for a network development engineer role. I've already made a connection with a hiring manager in network engineer. Awesome. So solution says, what are the regular panel interview questions asked in Amazon? That is all of the behavioral question. Go rewatch. Will, newly hired at Tableau, diving into demonstration without help from product consultant when additional technical help was needed. No, let's work on your story a little bit stronger. And no worry, I'm here to support you inside the community, and I will find you later on today, Will. RQ, I struggle with being long-winded in my communication. My feedback has been that I run around the loops and I need to get to the point. That is a good weakness, but you don't really want to call out your ultimate weakness. Okay. Rather than saying that I struggle with being long-winded, rather than saying that my weakness is my communication, I would simply just say my weakness is being too detail-oriented, which means you're also long-winded. Okay. Let me give you an example. Give me an example. And what is the result? So I'm working on getting, I'm working on staying high level with enough depth in order to help execute, in order to provide the right success in delivering for my customers. But you need to give me a line of what you have done. Give me an example how you are long-winded, which means detail-oriented. Do not say something that you're really not good at in an interview setting. So the interviewer is going to scratch their head thinking, wait a minute, if this person is telling me they're long-winded and they're long-winded now, and it takes them 5 minutes to give me an answer, I'm not inclined to hire. I don't have time to train this person. You see where I'm going? Hardeep says, my weakness is that I get restless if I don't get details or data from team. I start working on collecting data and details myself and ask them to sit and work with me as per my schedule. Hardeep, is there any more? I like that you mentioned my weakness is that I get restless if I don't get the details needed. I would stop right there. I wouldn't mention team. I wouldn't go on anything else. But basically, my weaknesses is to be a perfectionist. That's what I'm hearing, right? Let me give you an example. In a project that I led, where I spend so much time in gathering data from team and being so adamant to make sure that my data is correct in order for me to deliver the result by doing this. So you see where I'm going there, Hardeep? Give me specific example. But I really like your situation. Dave, my weakness is that my urgency, I like that, my bias for action. My weaknesses is my urgency to solve customers' problem, often in conflict with my work process. Love, love, love. That's probably my favorite one out of today. An example is with my major customer needed for capacity available to see if we could produce some expedite parts, creating query through normal process when meet customers' need. I gain approval to VP to bypass and create the query from the needed capacity. We had the capacity and we were able to produce urgency needed. Yes, 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 yes. Dave. Hang on. Woo! I love it. Yes. Just by doing this, you will be able to give me an answer in 30 seconds. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, that's a pure example in how you're able to answer a behavioral questions in 30 seconds or less. Exactly what Dave just said. A very specific example. It is a weakness. It's not really a weakness. And he was able to pull in to deliver results at the very end. Okay? Great job, Dave. Denise says, since I am result-oriented person to fulfill customer order, what was Dave's answer again? You need to scroll up, my friend. Since I am a result-oriented person to fulfill customer's order, I push my colleague in another department to be able to supply the material. Hopefully customer is fulfilled. I apologize that I pushed a lot. You know what? I don't even have to know what the story is. I would say your weakness is insist on higher standards. So I would simply just say, I like to share an example of my weaknesses around having a high bar. That's it. Denise, it's beautiful. Having a high bar. Let me walk you through an example of a time where I really pushed my peers from different departments in order to provide the materials and data needed to help and a client, any customers of mine. Without having the right information, I will not be able to deliver results. And this is what I've done to earn trust from my peers by letting them know how crucial it is to meet the deadline for this specific customers. I would really give a little bit more detail of this customer and what you have delivered. I really, really, really love that this is insist on higher standard. This is quality. Your weaknesses is providing top quality results. Okay, so rather than saying I push my colleague or I'm being very result driven, you can also say it's focusing too much on the quality. Usha, hello, hello, hello. Can we mention which leadership principle example we are giving? No, guys, when you are answering behavioral questions, do not remind them, okay, I'm ready to give you an example. Can I give you an example of diving deep? Don't do that. Do not do that. Just go on and talk about your story. That's what I mean, guys. Even though you think you know your stuff, you think you have a lot of experience, I would say 99% of any of my coaching platform, my coaching community has 10 to 20 years experience and they still need help. Again, interviewing, it is an art. It's a skill and it's also an art. It takes a long time to master on it. Do not highlight, I'm giving you an example, customer obsession. Your answer should be so good that it will hit all of the LPs. All right, carry on. Sarav says, "You're welcome, Usha." God, I love two screen. It's kind of cool because I'm finally seeing what my screen looks like in 5K instead of the horrible white color. But the background is bothering me a little bit. So I have to go in about 20 minutes. So I will speed up to answer as many questions as I can. If you guys are interested for me to answer your questions earlier on, you could always super chat me or super chat a sticker where I can see your questions up front. Okay. And if you're part of my coaching community, I know some of you guys are, I will see you inside the program. I'm still going to answer your questions here, but, I'm trying to rush through in this specific scenario. Okay. I have so Ralph, you're next. I have 5 rounds of virtual interview coming up, which means you're final interviewed. I'm just concerned about using my best examples. Don't want to exhaust. Well, if you think about the example that I just gave you, rewatch the very beginning, the first half an hour, where I use the same story, recycle it in a way where it is meeting different leadership principle. Okay. Yoni says my weakness is that I'm so I'm too perfectionist. I like things to be done perfectly, and sometimes I get frustrated because of careless of people. I love that, but you don't want to make your peers sound negative, so I would rephrase that. Aravin says, how long does it generally take for HR team to call me? It really depends. I would recommend that you follow up on them. Hello, Anlu. Anlu is part of the coaching community as well, and she's helping me with a lot of the technical issues on Discord. So my entire community is housed and hosted in Discord. Welcome back, Anlu, who's been following. By the way, she went through everything that you guys have went through, landed a job as an STE from Amazon and waiting to start. Sally. Giving 20-minute presentation about client's project lineup, but spending 5 minutes longer on one product detail repeatedly. Notice ASAP and allow audience to soak in the information and move. It's a little bit confusing for me, Sally. But I tell you what, though, I can tell that you are a go-getter. I can tell that you're ambitious just by how concise you are. But you got to tell me a story, okay? Without even looking at your background, I know that we connected on LinkedIn literally last night, if I remember correctly. So without knowing too much about you, you just have to make sure that you're painting your credential, your credibility a little bit more clear. I like how you're phrasing everything very choppy to the point, but make sure you're providing a little bit more depth. Harper, why your website cannot sign up? What do you mean by my website cannot sign up? I'm very confused, Harper. Reach out to me via LinkedIn. Red Riding Hood, our old friend. My LinkedIn profile has been continuously been visited by Amazon Recruiter. She is the same lady who shortlisted me for the interview in May. Is there possible in the future for another chance? Well, if she keep on looking at your background, you may be evaluated on different role because once a recruiter have interviewed you and you don't make it past the loop, there's no reason for them to keep on looking back unless you keep on popping up on her searches and filling the role, which tells me that you have an amazing LinkedIn profile. Okay. Red Riding Hood, I know your name is not Red Riding Hood. I would have to go into my messages and find you. Could you remind me, will you ping me, give me a message on LinkedIn and let's revisit your profile. I know that you've been with me for quite a few months. I want to see if there's anything I can help you in the back end. Jennifer, hey Jennifer. I've never been a strong writer. I rely on peers reviewing. By the way, you do not want to share this weakness. You don't want to, guys, I don't want you to call yourself out what your weaknesses are. Your weaknesses should be an opportunity for you to be like, think about a time that you're very obsessed, that you actually are able to deliver results, but what could you have done to go through the extra mile to deliver result, okay? Because my example of weaknesses is I actually went extra mile. I took on a role on top of my role as a recruiting leader to train the whole team in Austin up to speed before they join and get all the paperwork settled. That was my weakness, extremely obsessed. So your weaknesses cannot be because you're not a strong writer. Because in an environment like Amazon, it's all about writing. There's a lot of writing and presentation involved. So let's work on that more inside the program, okay? Don't worry, I'm here to support you. Ponima, you're welcome, Gus. Ponima, I don't like the client spending unnecessary money, time for history data catch up. I did analysis to understand why it took long. I like where you're going, Ponima, but I'm not understanding your situation. So you have to paint a better story. Okay? Anishka, I'm a bit impatient person. It means that from time to time, I act immediately. When my manager asked me to create a sales dashboard, I did one from scratch, which took me around a week. I don't like that answer because it's not telling me what your strength is and the whole story. So where I can help you, Anishka, is rather than saying that I'm an impatient person because it can come off as negative. Remember, you're interviewing for a job here. I would say things like, my weakness is my weakness is moving too fast at times. Let me tell you a story. Tell me a story. For example, there's a time when my manager had given me a task to create a sales dashboard. Tell me about the story in a couple sentences, okay? But in the end, when you're saying, if you're going to make a comment that it took me around a week to deliver, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I don't know what is fast for you or for your environment may be different from Amazon. If you're able to deliver within a week, which is, it sounded quite fast, what did you do to get there? You know, you want to talk about, although I was giving a timeline of a month or net 30 to fulfill this project, but I was able to complete it in a much shorter time frame with the obsessions to get the deliverable out as quickly as possible with the speed or something along that lines, but massage it a whole lot, but without knowing what's critical about the sales dashboard. You need to make it sound important. Okay. Why is that significant? Okay. Gabriella, I'm not sure if a correct answer. Tell me about a time you had to work on a project to unclear responsibility, a time where okay. Gabriella, it seems like you have a lot of behavioral questions. You may want to look at my previous stream. Okay, Gabriella. The previous stream, I actually talk about, I gave you very detailed example of my personal example. I've also walked through a number of audience like you guys here right now. So you want to look at the previous 3 stream. It's Amazon Leadership Principle questions and answer live stream like this with those behavioral questions. Let's work on those first before you jump. It's you know the phrase of teaching a horse how to walk before you teach them how to skip or jump. This is one of those. You need to start from the basic. Know what is the most innovative thing you've done. Know how you're able to tell a story with no data or limit it. And also, very importantly, know a time that you have failed, what have you learned from it, and what would you have done differently? And also today, your weaknesses, basically self-aware. Know all of that. Your question is to work on a project that was uncleared, responsibility. It's called limited data. Okay, so look at the previous live stream. Mutis says, thanks for reply to my comment last week. Oh, you're welcome. Judy says, I'm a big fan of you. Well, I'm a big fan of you just by showing up. Thank you for the thumbs up. Guys, if you haven't given me any more star yet, and we're ending in 10 minutes, I would really, really appreciate that we're wrapping up the live stream with star, 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 star. You guys know I love my star, so I would appreciate if you give me some of those towards the very end. Donnie, I just had my phone interview with Amazon. Fingers crossed. Let me know the outcome, okay? And you guys know the rule. When you get an offer from Amazon, Facebook, or Apple, those and Google as well, I want to see you coming back every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I want to pump up my audience here. There's at least 8 people that have mentioned that they're receiving an offer. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in India and also Europe. It's getting really late for them. I want to say 11 p.m. or depending on what part of the world they're in, they're not able to make it. So if you land an offer, you're in the US in somewhat around my time frame, please do come back, because it really motivates everyone and gives them hope. Mar in the 707, have an interview tomorrow for a financial analyst. Good luck to you. Yay! Star, 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 star. Thank you for those stars, Jamal and Sin and Oshmar and CRB. MT Rooter 2 says, you mentioned to reschedule an interview for future if you're not ready. Aren't the open recs trying to be filled quickly? Well, let me ask you these questions, okay? Sure, you could interview however you want to, but why are you interviewing if you know that your chances of failing is 50%? So would you rather not have an offer from Amazon and interview again with another opportunity, or shoot your foot, I'm not even saying it that way, shoot yourself in the foot where you're being, someone mentioned shortlisted, that you're not invited to interview for the next year or longer? Okay, that's the questions that I needed to ask all of you guys. Is it really worth it? Because if I know that I don't have my store, I'm not ready, no, I'm not going to, because it stays in their system forever. Hi, Zoe. Good seeing your 4. Zoe is giving me 4 thumbs up, and most of you are giving me 1. Something's wrong with this picture here. Lindsay, what is a typical practice internally regarding candidacy? Interviewed with Amazon 3 weeks ago, no offer, have another interview in a different position coming up soon, suggest insight. The process should all still be the same. I would ask your recruiter who had reached out to you for a second for interview with a different position can see all of your feedback. I would really leverage that recruiter. And here's what I would do. I would simply just say, whatever that person's name is, as you can see, I previously interviewed for Amazon. It is my dream company, which means I would love to finally land an offer with Amazon. I am not sure if you could see any of my previous feedback. If you could tell me an area where I need to perform better in, I would love that, because it would mean the word to me to finally get that offer. And I would stop right there. So I would try to make friends with the recruiter and see what feedback they can share with you. The disco light. I'm glad you like that. Sunny, that's a really nice profile picture right here. Sunny says, how long recruiters take to reply? Time has changed. It used to be every 2 business days. Now it seems like anywhere between 2 business days to several weeks. I'm just assuming with best intention that they're getting bombarded with a lot of candidates. So I would advise you guys to follow up with your recruiters every 2 business days to remain fresh on their mind. Oh, Erin, it's okay. It's a lessons learned. Just make sure that you spend this time in practicing, okay? Cindy have a phone interview with Amazon in January for a recruiter role and completely ruined it. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Sometime when you guys don't get a position with any employer and not just Amazon. It's not just you. Sometimes it's the employer. Maybe it's not a good, maybe it wasn't a good fit for you for whatever reason that is. So allow that time for you to make improvement and work on your story. Okay. And I'll be giving you more training similar to this, but more webinar where I'm actually sharing my screen and walking you through with more specific example where you can actually keep the details. All right. Padimi says my weakness changed based on your feedback. My weaknesses is my diving deep. Let me explain. When I was preparing a monthly business review, I was working on top content report. It was enough to provide the page view and conversion rate for each content page. But instead, I went into the detail of the content, the author. But actually, you don't need to go too deep. I like it much better. In the process, I was late 10 minutes in submitting the slide for the monthly business review. I like it. It's much, much, much better. What did you learn from that? Okay, I would just add that part in. CRB says, interviewing for an area manager position. My weakness is that I often take ownership of problems that I do not need to. Sounds like me. In order to deliver results. For example, I interned with a nonprofit that need a website built, and firm told us that it would take a couple months and $500. I was able to build it for them in a week for free. Oh, that's really awesome. I like that. Can we all give CRB a clap here? That's really nice. That's very genuine. It's earning trust, deliver result, having backbone. It's insist on higher standard. It's a number of different things. Absolutely customer obsession. I don't know if I mentioned bias for action as well, but bias for action. Great job, CRB. Prestart says, how to be part of your coaching community. Sorry, you have answered it already. Yeah, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn and I can send you a link correctly. I used to have everything linked to Patreon, but Patreon is just not friendly for a larger community around coaching. And I'm not a fan of the billing system at all. I've run into a lot of hiccup with my customer and it had created a lot of the negative customer and user experience, which is why if you guys want to support my work, which is this, your free coaching, you can buy me a cup of coffee for $10 on Patreon. Again, you do not have to do that, but should you need to, that should be the only tier on Patreon right now. But if you're interested in my premium and VIP, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. It is on my website, which is holiday.co. Okay? I'm more than happy to ping you the link directly as well. Okay, guys, we are running out of time. I have to get going, so I wanted to pick on someone that I have not yet had the opportunity. Faye Chan. My weakness is that I have a very strong sense of ownership. I love it. Once I start a project, I need to complete it with high standards. So sometimes, you see how Faye is tying all the LP into her story? I love it. So sometimes I end up taking more and more. You should say, and sometimes I end up taking more than I can handle. Just like that. I'll give you an example. When I was managing tooling category, building the category management strategies, I was halfway developing the category strategies for tooling. My manager offered me a great opportunity to work on a new category. By the way, do not repeat the word category so often. You have so far repeated it 4 times. It's just a lot of repetitive movement. When you do that, you will lose your audience, okay? He asked me to let my coworker take over my old category tooling so I could focus on the new category. You see what I'm saying? It's too much category going on. You have repeated yourself 8 times. It's a lot of category. However, I was very interested in the old category and wanted to complete it very much. So I asked my manager if I could, okay. It's very redundant. I love your intent. I like where you're going, but it's too much. So way too much. So here's what I would have done. I would say, I'm Faye. My weakness is a strong sense of ownership. Let me give you an example. While working on a current project, my manager had given me a second project to build category tooling for our business. I don't know what you're billing it for, right? I'm just jumping in here, making things up now. Let's just say tooling to benefit our customers. My manager had asked me to finish the current project that I've used before taking on something different. I disagree, as I felt that I had already started with the process and really wanted to see through the end result. More importantly, I wanted to see the tools that I have built and how it could benefit our end user and customers, and also importantly gain feedback from them to make it better. The end result is I was able to complete both projects in a timely manner, resulting in happy customers. Guys, I totally just made all of that up, but I want to hear something like that, okay? Very quickly within 30 seconds without repeating category and category 10 different times, okay? Fami, later new, okay. Fami, you need to refix your weaknesses. All right, my friend? Lalaine interviewing for communication role soon. My customers would be the employees and various stakeholders. Yes. I won't be able to answer yes or no, but in the job description is very, very clear, and I'm going to assume that it's absolutely internal employee. One BAM girl. Hello. I have my second interview for recruiter role. Wow, there's a lot of recruiter. Yes, know all of the behavioral questions very, very well. The 20% of, rather than technical, it's more of your recruiter functionality. For example, what is your recruiter workflow? Okay. When you say recruiter, are you talking about sourcer or recruiter? There's two different things. Okay. What is your closing ratio? Everything that I just talked about, if you want to scroll up for the last minute or rewatch this stream tomorrow morning or later on this evening, where I have timestamp of the client lead example that I provided earlier. Okay, BAM girl? Okay, Judy, last one, okay? Oh no, last one. I feel that public speaking is challenging. No, let's move on. Do not mention your ultimate weakness, so focus on a weakness that's actually your strength that you are obsessed with. Osman, hello. So a lot of you guys are asking really similar questions about the processes, software engineering tips and whatnot. I'm going to put it right here, okay? It is called Amazon Interview Tips Playlist. That has all the tips for all of your position title. And this questions and answer right here, similar to this is called the Amazon Leadership Principles Questions and Answer. Okay. If you guys go there, basically everything that has the word Amazon on it, guys, if you're going to spend your time in watching my live stream or pre-recorded content to help you, by the way, land a job with any of your dream company, not just Amazon. Why are you not doing it yet? What's stopping you? Because I'm coming in here and I'm showing up every single week for at least 2 to 3 hours to help you guys. On top of that, re-watching this entire stream and putting the timestamp for you. So I'm showing up for you, including the disco light in the back that I really don't like. And I'm leaving it for you guys as well. So I really wanted to see you asking me questions that are related to the content when you still feel stuck. Because if you're asking me those questions that are already in there, already built in for you, I'm just going to defer you right into that. Okay? Again, thank you so much, everybody, for your time, your support. My channel is growing to about 8,300 subscribers. All thanks to you. And if you haven't subscribed already, if you haven't given me a thumbs up already, make sure you do so. I will see you next Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have an amazing rest of the week. I will see you soon. Bye.